Hi boys and girls, I hope you've had a good Sunday. I am just finishing up my camping weekend that I had, and remember how I was telling you I was on Cayuta Lake, which is in Schuyler County, which is a couple counties away from Cortland County, and I'm going to be reading Camper of the Week, and the story and the illustrations are by Amy Schwartz. And this book inspired me to, the campground that I'm staying at inspired me to read you this book, so I hope you enjoy it. Camper of the Week. A hush fell over Camp Wickiwack campers as Big John slowly opened the birch bark folder. Rosie clutched her hands in tight little fists. The twins, Dawn and Eve, each put a warm hand on each of Rosie's knees. And the Camp Wickiwack Camper of the Week is... So this is the kind of camp where children go and they sleep away at camp. That's a little different from the campground that I'm at, where you bring your camper or your tent and you stay with your family. This is the type of camp where it's a sleepaway camp where you go away from your family for the week. Rosie Matthews from Badger Cabin. Hooray! The twins cheered. A spitball hit the back of Rosie's head. Cut it out, Bernice, snarled Rosie's buddy Rhonda. Rosie Matthews is courteous and considerate. Big John continued over the campers' applause as Rosie walked to the front of the mess hall to receive her burl plaque. Rosie Matthews obeys all Camp Wickiwack rules. Rosie Matthews is a credit to her fellow Badgers. And we can see there is the mess hall. So a mess hall is another word for like a big cafeteria or a place where everyone meets. That belongs in the camp. Rosie cradled the burl to her chest as she trailed the Badgers back to the cabin under the setting sun. She carefully placed her award under her pillow. Then she changed into her robe and go-aheads and took her toiletry bag to the girls' bathroom to wash up for bed. So see, these are where all the children sleep in different cabins. Rhonda and the twins were there, brushing each other's hair. Yo, Rosie, you're first in your PJs as always, Rhonda greeted her. Congratulations, Camper of the Week, Dawn said. I knew you'd get it. You are so good you never get into any trouble. Yes, I do, Rosie said, all the time. No, she thought to herself, I really don't. I never get in trouble. Well, Eve said, if you want to, you can get in trouble with us. She pointed to the sink. 3 shiny minnows were lying there side by side. So we know that minnows are tiny little fish. A few fish for Bernice's bed, Rhonda giggled. Want to help us give that bully a surprise? I can't believe she hit you with a spitball. Rosie stepped back. Oh no, I couldn't. I'm allergic to fish. You mean that you're allergic to trouble, Rhonda laughed. That's okay, Rosie. The girls gathered up their things, but if you change your mind, meet us at Bernice's bed at 8:30. She has KP duty tonight. See you later. So there they are when she came back in the cabin with her award. And then these girls are trying to convince her, here's these minnows in the sink, and they're going to put them in the bed of the bully. Before she goes to sleep, she'll find some fish in her bed. And it sounds like Rosie really didn't feel comfortable with that. Even though the girl's a bully, she didn't want to put the fish in her bed. Rosie brushed her teeth and she gargled twice. It was cold and a little spooky in the girls' bathroom. She brushed her hair 100 times. Rosie watched a centipede make its way down a drain pipe. She rubbed the back of her head where Bernice's spitball had hit. She thought of Bernice's bare feet, finding the 3 minnows between the sheets, and she laughed. I'd still be a courteous camper if all I did was watch them, Rosie told the centipede. She checked the time. She still had 3 minutes before 8:30. Rosie zipped up her toiletry bag and hurried outside. So do we think Rosie is going to follow along when the other kids make poor choices and put the fish in the girls' bed, even though the girl's mean? Well, if it isn't Miss Goody Two-Shoes all ready for bed. Rosie froze in her tracks. It was Bernice heading back to the cabin. She'll catch Rhonda and the twins for sure. Help! Rosie threw her toiletry bag in the air and fell down. Help me, Bernice, it's my knee. Bernice laughed. Some camper of the week you are. Rosie moaned and groaned. Bernice kept laughing. A moment later, Rosie saw 3 figures slip from the cabin. She sat up. I'm okay, she said to Bernice. It's all better now. So she didn't participate, but she helped the girls so they didn't get caught. A few minutes after lights out, a shriek rang out from Badger Cabin. So we see it's dark time, and look how the author-illustrator makes us realize which cabin the shriek is coming from. See how the illustrator just does those marks, and that shows that there's some noise coming from that cabin. At breakfast the next morning, Big John looked over the Wikiwac mess hall. I'd like to see the Mackenzie twins and Rhonda Rabinowitz in my office. Pronto. Rosie's stomach flip-flopped. She saw Bernice in the corner of the hall with a triumphant smirk on her face. So the word triumphant means kind of like she wins. What'll he do to us? Whispered Dawn. We've got to stick together, Eve said. So long, Rosie, Rhonda said. Lucky for you that you're so good. Rosie watched her three friends file out after Big John. She was all alone at the long table. I see why they call him Big John. Look how tall he is. During basket weaving, Rhonda filled Rosie in. Bernice figured out it was us, so we had to confess. Big John said we can't go to the ghost story powwow tomorrow night. Rosie gasped. The powwow was the most exciting event at Camp Wikiwac. Hey man, it's okay, Rhonda said. We'll have our own powwow. Don't worry about us. Rosie watched Rhonda and the twins huddled together, whispering and giggling as they wove their baskets. During archery, Bobby Jones pulled Rosie's ponytail. Heard about those girls? He said. 3 minnows, they're really something. It's about time someone gave that bully a taste of her own medicine, Sherman Bronstein piped up. And at the afternoon swim, the kids on the raft could talk of nothing else. So it sounds like people are angry with the bully and they want bad things to happen to her. At supper, Rosie sat down with her friends. So what if we got caught, Dawn was saying. It was worth it. Those fish sure made Bernice the bully scream. We're lucky she didn't catch us putting them in her bed, Rhonda chimed in. Really lucky, said Eve. Bernice got out of KP early that night, but came back to the cabin too late to catch us anyway. Isn't that something, Rosie? Rosie dragged her fork through her mashed potatoes so it made little tracks. Well, we've got to find moss for our dioramas, Dawn said. Catch you later, Rosie. Rhonda and the twins ran out of the door. Rosie decided to go check her Camper of the Week award. So do you think we're starting to realize that Rosie might be feeling a little bit bad about her choice? Nobody else knows that Rosie prevented Bernice from discovering them, but Rosie knows in her heart, doesn't she? The burl was still there in the empty cabin. Rosie changed into her robe, and she put the burl under her arm and went out to the bathroom to brush her teeth. She watched the centipede on the drain pipe as she brushed her hair 100 times. I'm the Camper of the Week, she told her reflection in the mirror. I obey all Camp Wikiwac rules. The centipede continued down the pipe. Most of the time. Rosie put the burl in her toiletry bag and slowly walked back to the cabin. So it's really weighing on her heart, isn't it, boys and girls? And we know sometimes when we make a poor choice like that, we do think about it, and we do think about what the right thing to do should have been. At Friday morning forestry, Rosie couldn't concentrate on tree rings, and during the picnic lunch, she didn't feel very hungry. She looked up and saw Big John watching her. He picked up his sandwich and came and sat next to her. Rosie watched him eat. So there they are. And there's Big John eating his sandwich. Why so glum, Camper of the Week? Want a pickle? Rosie nodded. She watched a huge piece of cake disappear into Big John's mouth. She took a bite of her pickle, and she chewed it very slowly. She's thinking, isn't she? Then she picked up a twig and drew a circle in the dirt. If a person breaks a Camp Wikiwac rule, Rosie said in a small voice, is that person still a credit to her cabin? Well, that all depends, Big John said. Rosie drew a wavy line around the circle. She looked over at her three pals. She was sure they were planning their powwow. If a person's friends get caught doing something, and that person doesn't get caught, but maybe should have been, wouldn't that person feel kind of lonely? Well, Rosie, yes, I could see that a person might feel that way. Big John brushed some crumbs from his beard. He stood up. See you at the powwow tonight? I guess so, Rosie replied. After dinner that night, the Badgers hurried back to their cabin to get ready for the ghost story powwow. Big John rang the camp gong and called out, 5 minutes! All the Badgers ran to the campfire, except for Rhonda and the twins. And Rosie. I decided to stay here with you, she said, because I helped with the fish. I was the one who made Bernice be late. Yo, Rosie, Rhonda cried. Thanks. You old troublemaker, Eve said. I knew you had it in you. So there she is. And she decides to stay with her friends who are having a consequence in missing the powwow. The camper of the week joined her 3 buddies. And in each corner of the Badger cabin, the 4 friends told each other ghost stories until their toes curled. So they weren't able to participate in the powwow with the rest of the camp friends, but they had a little powwow themselves together. So are you proud of Rosie, the camper of the week? I'm really proud of her. She did the right thing, didn't she? She knew in her heart that she didn't do the right thing even when no one was looking, and so she decided to take responsibility for that. So that was pretty awesome, and I think that keeps her camper of the week. Don't you, boys and girls? I hope you enjoyed my story, and I hope you had a great weekend. I will see you tomorrow. We do have our very last class Zoom meeting tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning. So I did send out a link. I will share it again just to make sure you all see it. So I hope that you're all able to participate. And then on Wednesday, we'll be turning in any devices, any library books, or anything that you have. I have sent a message to all of your families about what library books you have out. So just make sure that you have those. If you are not able to make it on Wednesday, you can come either Thursday or Friday as well. You would just need to call the school. I hope you have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.